the threes of chess and how to use the threes of chess. No matter what part of the game you're in, the threes of chess can help you. Whether you're in the opening, whether you're in the middle game, whether you're at the end game. In the middle game of chess is about tactics. And in actuality, there's definitely more than 3 tactics. There are quite a few tactics. There's probably over 100 different tactics that can be used in chess. All these tactics have one thing in common. They take a piece away from your opponent to give you an advantage. The 3 most common tactics that I like to talk about are forks, pins, and ties. The fork is the most common tactic in chess. A fork is just what it sounds like. It's one piece attacking at least 2 enemy pieces from one square. You say, well, so what? What do you mean, so what? If you are attacking 2 enemy pieces from one square, your opponent only has the ability to avoid that one piece. He could move one piece away from the attack. If he doesn't actually capture the piece that's doing the attacking to eliminate it, that fork is going to eliminate an important piece from your opponent. So, fork, pawn fork, every piece on the board can fork. Pawn forks. Bishop fork. Rook fork. One of my favorites. Get ready for the knight fork. Yes. The knight fork. And then when we look at the queen, because the queen can move in so many directions, she can attack from one square. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many pieces can the queen attack from one square? Yeah. But what you have to do while you're playing, you have to find the squares. That's what we're looking for when we're looking for where to move and what to do. If we're trying to make a fork, we're looking for the square where our piece attacks the most enemy pieces. So that's a big part of the game. Forks, pins, the tactic of the pin, whether it's an absolute pin or a relative pin. We'll talk about that later. And ties. The ties. Ties, also known as the overworked piece. When one piece is protecting multiple pieces, like let's say that queen, on one hand, she has a strength attacking multiple enemy pieces. But on the other hand, she has a weakness. She can't protect multiple pieces. When she's on one square, she may be protecting 1, 2, once again 3, maybe 4 or more of her own pieces. That's right. But if you're attacking more than one of those pieces, well, she might not be able to stop both attacks. If you take this one, yeah, she could trade there. But now what happens to this guy over here? He gets captured. That's what a tie is. When a chess piece is tied to too many of his own pieces, therefore making him weak. He's overworked. We worked him to death. He can't protect all those pieces. Anyway, the threes of chess. At the end game, when you're trying to finish a game of chess, the last position in chess is known as checkmate. In a checkmate position, the king is under attack and he cannot get away from the attack. But guess what? There's 3 ways. That's right. The threes of chess come back again. 3 ways to get out of check. When you get put in check, now this part is the part that takes a little something extra. Let me talk to you about the heat of the battle. When you're playing chess, chess is like a war. It's a fight. Both sides are battling against each other. And it can get very enthusiastic. You get caught up in it so much that sometimes you forget about your threes of chess. That's right. But there's a threes of chess that corresponds to check. The 3 ways to get out of check are capture. Capture that piece to put the king in check. The king is no longer in check when that piece is eliminated from the board. That's right. The second way to get out of check is to block, or they call it intercede. To put another one of your pieces between the attacking piece from the other side and the king. Because if the king is in check, some piece from the other side is attacking him. And you can put one of your pieces in between the two to block the attack. Capture, first way to get out of check. Block, second thing to look for. And last, the third way, don't let this be the first way. That's one of those things where you go from beginner to intermediate. The beginner, you put him in check, he does number 3. Move. Run. However you want to look at it. When you move away from a piece that you could have taken, well, what did you just do? You forgot your threes of chess. That's right, you forgot your threes of chess. If you had your threes of chess with you, when that person said check, little bell would have went off in your head. Check. I'm supposed to, hold on a second. That's part of that threes of chess. Check. What am I supposed to do first? That's right. capture. That's what I need to look for first, capture. Can I capture that piece that put my king in check, to put my king under attack? What's the second thing to look for? That's right. Block. I want to block that piece that attacked the king. Third way to get out of check, the one I don't want you to use unless you have to, is move. Move the king to a square that is not under attack by the enemy. Because we know what happens if you can't do one of those three things. The game is over. The king is in check and he can't get out of check. And that's unfortunate because that's the game. That's the game over. It's unfortunate for the side that got the checkmate, but unfortunate for the other side. When we talk about the threes of chess, there's one element of the game. We talked about the threes in the opening. We talked about the threes in the middle game. We talked about the threes in the end game when there's check involved. But I want to talk about an element, part of the threes of chess, and it's known as tempo. Tempo. What is tempo? Tempo is timing. Tempo in chess says who's in control. Do you want to be in control? I think I want to be in control on the chessboard. If you're not in control on the chessboard, then what are you? You might be a victim on the chessboard. You might be the one that's running away from everything, trying to figure out a safe place for your men. But you don't want to be that person. No. You want to be the person on the chessboard that has control. And that's the person with the tempo. Guess what? There's three type of tempo moves in chess. That's right. I wouldn't call it the threes of chess if you couldn't look at least three important elements. With tempo, the number one tempo move is check. That's right. I control my opponent when I put him in check. That's right. Because the rules of the game say when I put that man in check, he has to what? Don't say move. He has to get out of check. The king has to get out of check or else the game is over. It's checkmate. So, check is a controlling move. That means it's a tempo move. Once I check the enemy king, I am controlling his side of the board by making him defend. So what happens after he either moves or hopefully he doesn't take my piece? If I did a bad check and he takes my piece, then, well, things could be turned around at that point. But let's say I have a good check, a check that he can't capture, a check that he can't block. Or if he can block it, do I have another man that could check him again? So I stay in control when I check. That's the first type of tempo move, check. The second type of tempo move is threat of mate. Let me show you what that looks like. When you threaten to get checkmate in one move and your opponent doesn't do anything to stop your checkmate, if their next move is not a specific move to stop checkmate, well then you win on your next move because you were threatening to win the game. And if they don't stop it, then guess what you just did? You won the game. Don't feel bad about it. That's the plan anyway. So, the first type of tempo move is check. Because when you check your opponent, he has to get out of check. The second type of tempo move, threat of mate. That's right. I'm going to threaten to win this game unless you stop me. Okay? I control your move. Your move has to be a move that stops my winning the game. I have controlled your side of the board. That's right. And there's another type of tempo move. The third type of tempo move. Threat to take. If I threaten a piece of my opponent, threaten to take the piece, to capture it, then he has to respond to that. Unless, let's say the piece is already protected. If the piece is already protected, well, he might not need to protect it. He might not need to move it. If the piece is the queen, what do you think? You think he's going to leave his queen there to get taken by a pawn or a knight or anything less than the queen from the other side? I don't think so. So the third type of tempo move, that what gives you control in a chess game? Threat to take. Check. Threat to move. Threat to mate. Threat to take. 3 type of tempo moves. That controls the game of chess. When I get into the middle game, I'm doing tempo moves. Even from the beginning you can do tempo moves. Because at the beginning of the game, white is on offense. When white makes that first move, black has to make a what kind of move? A defensive move. A move against white's first move. So when the game of chess starts, the white pieces are on offense. The black pieces are on defense. During the game, that can get turned around, where the black pieces are on offense and the white pieces become defensive. That's right. That's changing the tempo. That's right. From the beginning of the chess game, the white pieces have the tempo. They control most of the moves that are going on in the game until we can turn it around. Black can turn it around with usually, guess what? A tempo move. That's right. Black has its own tempo moves, just like white can find tempo moves. Black can find check. That's his tempo move as well. Black can threaten to checkmate. That's right, that's still tempo. Black can threaten to take an enemy piece. That is tempo. The threes of chess can take you a long way into the game. It gets your game started. It lets you know that there's a goal at each part of the game. There's a goal for the opening. There's a goal for the middle game. And of course, we know the goal in the end game. I hope we know the goal in the end game. My goal in the end game is checkmate. All right? I believe that's your goal as well. So come on back to the Coach's Corner. Coach Thomas is going to be here. I'm going to tell you how to use the threes of chess while you're playing the game. Because I know you've been saying, big deal, I can't get these threes down. I don't know how to use them. It doesn't make sense to me. Just listen to Coach Thomas. I have enough videos here. Hopefully you can put it together. Leave me a message if you need me to contact you and explain something that's specific to help you get through openings. If you have a specific opening you like to use yourself, I can go over it with you, give you alternatives, give you things to think about. Like I said, really you play chess through what? What you think. We know that. Chess is a thinking game. Alright? So use the threes of chess. Use them while you play. Find out what part of the game you're in. Opening, middle, end game. Remember the 3 things you should be trying to get done during that part of the game. That's right. If you're not doing one of those things, that is what you need to look to do. You cannot sit around in the middle game waiting for your opponent to put them in where you can perfectly fork them or perfectly pin them. What you have to do is exchange pieces to put pieces in the right square and create the pattern. When we go over middle game, we're going to be talking about patterns, pattern recognition. That's not part of the threes of chess, recognizing patterns, but we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about recognition in chess in the first place. Do you recognize what's going on in a game? Do you know when you're under attack? Do you know when to attack the enemy pieces? Oh wow, if you can't answer those questions, you might be lost in your game of chess. Because there are answers to these questions. And if you need to know, watch some of my videos. Hopefully I have a video that answers your specific issue. A lot of times it has to do with us just not understanding something. Or you hear a statement. For years I had students that could repeat my threes, but they didn't know what it meant. They didn't know what attack the center of the board meant. Somehow they didn't understand what developing knights and bishops was about. But I'm going to get down, I'm going to give you examples. I'm going to make pauses in the video to show you things that I'm talking about. I think live examples are probably the best way to understand. And I'm going to use a lot of puzzles. I think puzzles are great. Chess puzzles take you to that point in the game. I think whoever made chess puzzles often said, what do I do now? What do I do now? And the answer was, let's make this puzzle. We'll make this puzzle and we'll explain to people what to do and why they should do it. That's right. If you know what to do, and more importantly, why you should do it, then you're going to have a good chess game. That's right. There is a why. There is a what for every move. What did he move? Where did he put it? Why did he put it there? What does it do from there? What new moves were made by moving it out of the way of other pieces? These are the questions you have to ask yourself when you play chess. That's right. But come back to Coach Thomas, come back to the Coach's Corner, my chess mentor, Coach Thomas, chess mentor in Atlanta. I call myself a mentor because I'm going to teach you what to think. I'm not going to give you specific moves to make in chess. I'm going to teach you the threes of chess and how to use it in your game so that you will know, what do I do now? The eternal question in chess. What do I do now? It can happen in the beginning of the game. It could definitely happen in the middle of the game. Definitely. And it could happen in the end game as well. And there are answers to, what do I do now? Because when you're playing the game, especially on a clock, you might not have a lot of time to think about what to do. That's right. But if you're using the threes of chess, you're going to come up with a conclusion pretty quick. Okay, I'm confused. What part of the game am I in? Alright, I already got my king castle. I must be in the middle game. Alright, both our sides are still even. I haven't gotten advantage yet. I need to go for some forks. Look for which man has a fork. Look for which man has a pin. Look for which man has a tie. Look at my pieces. Look at my enemy pieces. That's how you do it. You found out what part of the game you're in. You're in the middle game. You know that you need forks, pins, and ties. Or a discovery. Or one of the other tactics of the middle game of chess. But if you don't start with looking for forks, mean, that's the basic thing to look for. Don't miss a good fork. Okay? That's a simple way to get ahead in chess. That's right. Tactics. So come on back to the middle game. Come on back to the coach's corner. Coach Thomas here, your chess mentor in Atlanta. I'm going to be teaching you some things about chess. I'm going to help you play a good game. I'm going to teach you what to think about, because that's what you need to know. You don't need a tricky move. There's not one tricky move, but there's good chess from what you think. You can figure out the good moves yourself. I'm going to help you. Come back to the coach's corner. All right? Watch my videos.